Welcome to the Stickers on the Mic podcast, brought to you by StickerGiant.com, where we talk with our customers about how they started their business, how they're marketing their brand, and how they're growing their company. Without further ado, it's time for the Stickers on the Mic podcast from Sticker Giant. Let's get on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome once again to Stickers on the Mic. Andrew here with you once again. Dialing in today from Neon Tea Party, Marisa Morrison. Marisa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, well, thank you for that. So Neon Tea Party, cool website. And crafting is cool. That's kind of like your big tagline right there on the site. And talk a little bit about crafting and creativity, because there seems to be quite a lot going on here, and I want to learn more about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, crafting and creativity are both very big topics, but, I've been a creative person since I was born, since, my whole life. I've always been crafty. I've always been drawn to design. I've always been really drawn to color and making, and my whole family is very creative. So it was always just part of my life. And it all, I always felt drawn to business ownership and creating not only, crafts and projects, but actually creating a business and trying to inspire others to tap into their creativity as well. So that's kind of the where Neon Tea Party sort of came from, like at its core, I guess.
So when you were picking the brand name, because those are three very fun words together, parties and tea and neon in general, but where was the inspiration there? Yeah.
So the story of how the name came to be, I studied magazine journalism in college.
Yeah.
And I was in college, I was in college starting 2007. So it was like right when blogs were starting to become a thing, or they'd already been a thing for a little while. But as a journalism student and someone who I specifically was really into fashion, have always been into fashion and design. So I started my own little outlet, and I called it the Neon Tea Party, on Blogspot, made a little Blogspot website.
I have many of those still, right? I still have those.
Yeah, exactly. So when I was trying to think of a name of what to call my blog, I don't know if you remember back in the early days of Facebook, there used to be a section where you would list all of your interests, and you would write like music, sports, whatever. So I got really into listing out every little specific thing that inspired me.
Yeah.
And so when I was coming up with my website name, I was like, let me look at my list of things that I like. And on the list, it said neon, tea parties. And I was like, I feel like a neon tea party describes my brain. So this has to be it.
That's so fun. Mining your own social profile. I love that. Now you're obviously a full-fledged business. It's e-commerce. You have a lot going on past e-commerce too, right? There's the virtual and the mobile. So I want to touch on both of those things. But when you were like, okay, this is going to be a brand. It's going to be like a shop. What were the ways you sort of strategize around products and tried to commodify some of that inspiration from your Facebook social profile, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when I brought back the Neon Tea Party as the beginning of what it now is, because, I started that website. It was when I was in college. I went off into the working world.
Totally.
And, kind of used that website on and off, and eventually decided, for a number of reasons, that I wanted to really give it a go and see what it could become. So I brought it back as a blog. With a DIY section because
nice. Yeah. Cause you got the tutorials on there. I was going to say that's like important to me too. I want to highlight that you do that work, and that's kind of neat. Cause like those are entry points for people. So I want to get to that part of it, but yeah. So anyway, you've got the blog and you got the tutorials. That's where that comes from. Cool.
Exactly. So when I was trying to figure out what to do to make money, I explored the whole, sponsored content path, and that just never felt like the right path for me. And so I figured I was teaching crafts online. Why can't I teach them in person? I grew up, singing and performing, and I was like, I don't mind being in front of a group, and I can talk to people and teach them crafts in person. So I started teaching craft classes, and you asked about products. So from there, the first classes that I taught were how to make pom-poms and tassels. Yeah,
those are right there. I was looking at those tutorials. I'm trying to make sure I got these together because that's a top line item for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Neon Tea Party, in its current state, really started by me teaching how to make pom-poms and tassels. And that's awesome. As far as our product,
that's the origin story, huh? That's great.
Right. Exactly. So we sell a curated assortment of craft supplies and craft kits, all for, I always say, colorful, fiberful, and also jewelry-based crafts. And so everything in our shop is, our absolute favorite insert craft supply here. So our favorite yarn, which if anyone is watching this, you could see behind me, is we only carry 2 types of yarn. And they're different weights, and they're both acrylic yarn, and they come in almost one of the yarns we have in 50 colors, one of the yarns we have in 44 colors. And so this is our favorite yarn. So we've taken out the decision paralysis, right? We have vetted what is our tried and true craft supply that you're looking for. So the same goes with, the tie-dye that we sell, the scissors that we sell. And of course, our craft kits are a compilation of all the supplies that we use on regular.
Well, and then like I said, it pairs with the tutorials. Like if you want to make these things, you have to have the actual hard good. And if you're doing the Halloween thing, right? Top line, here we are, it's October. You got the Halloween embroidery top of right there. Top left, right? Let's not lose sight of, that and getting people in that way too. The Monster Mash bundle, for instance, right? That's just a little one-off thing, which I can see what you're saying with all the varieties of colors and tools, which is super cool. The tie-dyes were so popular this year, right? We have a fun viral TikTok hoodie person who did that business in the last couple of years. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
That's so fun. So, you got the kits, you mentioned that. Of course, there's the other hard goods and tools like scissors and stuff like that. But then you have the community.
Yes.
Right? TEA, community. Yep. So what's that all about? Because I just love that little branding.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we have a really incredible group of crafters who, we do virtual programming. So just to paint the whole picture of what we do here at the Neon Tea Party, we are a virtual and mobile craft studio and e-commerce shop. So we teach you colorful crafts. They're all very groovy, nostalgic, but still trendy. So we do tie-dye, pom-poms and tassels, embroidery, friendship bracelets, jewelry making. So that manifests in, I talked about the craft supplies that we sell. Andrew, you mentioned the tutorials. We have a humongous, robust library of tutorials on our website for everything that we teach. And then we do in-person program. We do in-person events here. I'm based in North Jersey in South Orange, New Jersey, which is right outside of the city. So we do parties and things like that. But we also, and this is something that really grew during the pandemic, have our virtual community.
You had to do that, right? I mean, so you created that in the wake of it or during it, or you did sort of have that conceptually, I want to do a community component to it, or did it manifest then?
Yeah. I mean, before the pandemic, I was teaching classes, and I have teachers who, work with me at the Neon Tea Party.
Oh, nice.
We teach events and so we had a community aspect in person. And then of course with the pandemic had to, see what we could make of the situation, and, having a number of Instagram followers going into the pandemic and, people that I've like made relationships with over time, repeat customers, people who share, when they make our projects, tag us. So at the very beginning of the pandemic, actually, I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll really answer your question.
Yeah, no, you're good. This is fine. Like this is good.
So, so let's like flash back to March 2020 when the world felt like it ended. But I had just moved my business into a studio space in Manhattan. It was actually a co-working space, and we rented an office, and it was right next to a conference room. And that was going to be the beginning of the Neon Tea Party Craft Studio. Wow. And our lease started on March 1st, 2020. Right. And so, the day before our opening party, which was scheduled for, I believe it was like March 12th, we were like, this might not be safe to gather all these people here and have a party when there might be a pandemic happening. So anyway, all that to say, we were lucky to get out of our lease, but had to move everything back. My husband and I were living in Manhattan at the time. Yeah. Very tiny apartment. So you mentioned the photo on our homepage of our website. That was our Manhattan apartment. Okay. And so with all of that and having to pivot quickly, honestly, it was less about pivoting quickly in my mind and like, how are we going to make money now? Obviously that was in my mind, but more so I was like, wait, we're all about to be stuck at home for who knows how long. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to want to do things to stay busy, right? I think a lot of us realized that pretty quickly in terms of, how are we going to be spending our time if we're all stuck at home? So the first week of lockdown, at least Manhattan or New York lockdown, which was like March, I think it was like the 14th or the 15th, whatever that week was. We posted a workshop schedule and we're like, all right, you guys, I think it was every Sunday, I'm going to come on Zoom and teach a class and make sure you order your kit for the class by X date. Yeah. And I'm going to put on my mask and my gloves and walk around to the corner to the post office. And that was literally the grocery store and the post office were the only two places that I was going and drop off packages. And then I'll see you on Sunday and we'll craft together, and then we'll do it again next week and you'll learn something new. And that was really the beginning of the community, to go back to your question, which is a group of adult crafters. We have a platform, a community platform that we run through Mighty Networks. If anyone's familiar with that community platform, it's awesome. And that's like our hub where we stay connected with all of our, the Neon Tea Party's community of craft friends. And we continue to do virtual programming to this day. We have a program called Camp TNTP. On a few times a year where we do like a longer form project, and it's over the course of a few weeks. We meet twice a week and everyone works on a project together and hangs out, and we get silly and we learn things and we make things and celebrate our creations at the end. And it's crazy. Like there are people that we're all so much more connected, I feel like, than even with some other people in our lives through the Neon Tea Party. So it's really special. And it's truly the thing in my business that I feel most proud of, that we've been able to like cultivate these relationships and connect people who share a love of crafting.
That's so fun. Yeah. Like I was saying, we're a crafting household where I live. And so this is super cool. And, education is a passion of mine too. And so, it's very cool that you're able to get that feedback and bring those people together, and then also get those products out there.
And if anyone, I'll just say before we get topics, if anyone out there wants to join our community, it's free to join. Just find us at the Neon Tea Party. We have links on our Instagram website. So
yeah, it's the neonteaparty.com. Yeah, no, the Instagram's really fun. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you got to get the word out, right? I mean, that's like how everything has all come together. And now you've branded it out quite a bit, right? And you've got gifts and party boxes and craft kits, everything sort of bundled or one off, however you want to do it as a customer. You created the community, which is rad, of course, super fun. And giving the people the right tools for the job is always pretty crucial, right? But you've grown a pretty solid following on Instagram. I mean, what are some of the learnings there for you as someone who had to like build a brand and then promote it?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm still figuring it out. And honestly, it changes all the time in terms of, you mentioned Instagram and obviously the algorithm and what, video versus photo and all that. But, I think that one thing that I always have found really helps is, the call to action around getting people to share their projects and just genuinely be enthusiastic about crafting with us and tagging us. And that word of mouth, I think, has gone really far over the years. And but it's hard. Like Instagram specifically is not as easy as it once was, I think, to grow a following. I'm sure there's a little bit of like screen fatigue built in there as well. So,
that's true.
We're always taking a read on what's working and what's not. And, my mind, at least looking into next year, is more about like, it's less about, Instagram and all that, and more about how do we match up with the people who are looking for what we offer, whether that's events.
You mean through
products.
search? Yeah, I was going to say through search. Yeah, just through pure search then instead.
Google, Pinterest, YouTube, all that. How do we show up for the people who are looking for what we have to offer? So that's what's on my mind as far as marketing a lot. Local word of mouth too. For the mobile side of the business, the in-person. Right. Exactly. Local word of mouth.
So
promotional products are really helpful for that.
Oh, such as
stickers.
Oh, nice. Yes, of course. You have the crafting is cool sticker. I think I put it on my other water bottle. Anyway, so because crafting is cool, right? So what was I going to say? You were talking about Pinterest, and that's a focus area sort of for us. And I think you're doing a lot with tutorials and education anyway, right? So that's a natural place to do that how-to content. When you look at the lay of the land and your competitive set with Pinterest, what's working for you, you think?
Honestly, as I kind of mentioned a moment ago, I think that's something that's, top of mind for me looking into next year and beyond. We've had a lot of success with certain pages and certain pins, kind of, I don't want to say viral, but having a lot of visibility.
I was about to say they drive traffic to the site where you need it to go, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right, exactly. And so, I'm still kind of tinkering with what the best formula is, but what I can say that I have found so far is really good photography and very clear photography, and there being a very clear subject of an image so that people are captivated by it, are inspired by it, understand quickly what they're looking at. And if an image is beautiful and, checks all those other boxes, then I think there's a higher likelihood that someone will, save that pin, which is a link essentially, and hopefully click over to your site and then hopefully convert. Nice.
Because then you're talking about, it's so funny because YouTube is the other thing that I personally care a lot about. This goes on YouTube, right? Like the shows on YouTube, there's always so much you can do more with video content. Of course, you mentioned, just the sort of struggle with how much video you can ever produce. But how do you then differentiate and try to create that YouTube content?
Yeah. I mean, at least for us, we haven't cracked the code on like how to figure out exactly what's going to hit and what's not, but we put up tutorials, keywords and SEO within YouTube as well is really important. And then there are some that just like really start ranking. Like we have a tie-dye tutorial that has, I haven't checked it in a while, but the last time I checked, over 100,000 views, which is tremendous. Yeah. There are tons of videos out there with plenty more views than that, but for a tiny business like ours is, that's huge. And we get a lot of engagement and some conversions. So yeah, it's pretty neat, especially if your business is, has an educational component, or if you are a product-based business where you can incorporate educational content into your content strategy. People go on YouTube to learn things. So you could either entertain them or teach them something. So if you're looking for, that sort of SEO driven viewership and, hopefully conversions from there, nice. Educational content is really cool.
It is, but then, you got your, last but not least, is you got your TikTok, right? So like, how have you, like, it's like managing so many things, right? Like of like trying to do all that, and where you put all your effort to, right? TikTok's super popular. We're trying to leverage it. Our person who runs it here at Sticker Giant is doing, I think, a crackerjack job at it, right? But it's
maybe we'll hire them to help us out.
No, that's not what I mean. It's just like
TikTok is a whole. It still feels like the Wild West to me a little bit.
No, me too. But I was just reading a story, in the news about how and we're sharing it even on our marketing Slack, I think. And this is a tip for anybody: is like you got to read the news, but like how TikTok is being used for search more than ever. Right. So it's like, how do you speaking of search and video, and then here we are with trending topics, etc. How do you leverage that too? So that's where we're all learning. We don't need a deep dive on TikTok, because I'm personally not a pro at TikTok, but there are those who are out there, and go talk to them. But last but not least, talking about trends, and the growth of your business and where do you think it's going to go? You said you have some goals for 2023. How much of that, especially with local stuff, is for your planning of like, I want to, what's the growth sides of each side of that business for next year?
Yeah, well, we're, it's almost late. It's like late October now. So, and I say we, me and my small team, are talking about next year and beyond. And while I can't like get into too many details
of course
because we're still hammering everything out. We just brought back doing in-person private parties.
Nice.
So yeah, I was on a bit of a hiatus. We were on a bit of a hiatus from that for a while. So that's been really exciting, and, trying to grow our local business here in North Jersey, and we still cater to New York City, which is great. Right. And then, our e-commerce business, we have, some really fun ideas of, we kind of have products that we call evergreen. So that's like I mentioned, the yarn and our tie-dye and our kits. Those are the things that, we always have on our shelves, but, we have so many project ideas and so many things that we want to teach our community. And so that's kind of, we're thinking about how to differentiate more of like those projects versus, the stuff that, you can always get from us. You run out of your yarn. We always have your colors in stock. So that's where our head's at for next year. And of course, more fun stuff to engage with our community, craft with our virtual craft friends.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again, because crafting is cool, like you said. And thank you for putting that out into the world. It's important to have creative people and giving people tools to do the things they love. So we really appreciate you coming on the show and chatting with everybody. There was some cool stuff that we covered a lot of ground. So
thanks for having me. And any order that you purchase from our Neon Tea Party shop, any craft supplies you order from us will come with a Crafting is Cool sticker free in your order. So do you have one?
I do, but it's buried underneath a stack of stickers. But, and I see it come off the line. Yeah, the type is great. And there's a little emoji on there. I've given many of those to my daughter, who is our resident crafter.
Amazing.
She's got her glue gun in her hand. Actually, the littlest one was doing it the other day too. He was making a card for her birthday, and he was just all day down in the basement, which was pretty cute. So, especially with kids and engaging kids to be creative is super, something I value quite a bit. So, thank you for that, Marisa, and everyone out there listening. Again, it's, theneonteaparty.com. There's a whole bunch on there, from education to virtual classes to community, especially if you want to learn how to make friendship bracelets and crochet and pom-poms and beading and tie-dye, all that fun stuff. And you already said it, though. You said, here's my sticker. But yes, the show, every sticker has a story. We say it on every show. And today's sticker is Crafting is Cool from Neon Tea Party. Marisa, thanks again for joining us right there, front and center. Everyone, thank you very much for tuning in. And Marisa, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, we'll see you next time. Be good.
That wraps up this episode of Stickers on the Mic, brought to you by StickerGiant.com. You can download us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks again for listening to Stickers on the Mic. We'll see you next time.